The buzz inside the studio was electric as fans filled the seats for another taping of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Anticipation was high not only because of the late-night show's popularity, but because tonight's guest was none other than Brad Pitt, a Hollywood icon whose rare talk show appearances always made headlines. The audience cheered when Kimmel appeared from behind the curtain, flashing his signature grin and offering his usual opening monologue peppered with jokes about politics, pop culture, and quirky news stories. Backstage, Brad Pitt waited, dressed in a charcoal gray suit with an open-collared shirt. Though he appeared calm, crew members sensed something different in his demeanor, less relaxed, more guarded. It had been a tumultuous few months for Pitt, with ongoing legal disputes and swirling tabloid rumors about his personal life. Still, the show's producers expected a smooth interview. Pitt and Kimmel had always shared an easy rapport, but that assumption would soon be shattered. Kimmel transitioned into the guest segment with an enthusiastic introduction. "Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Brad Pitt." The audience erupted in applause as Pitt walked onto the stage, waving and flashing that familiar, charming smile. He sat down beside Kimmel and gave a light nod. The energy was high, but there was a visible tension in Pitt's body language, a stiffness that didn't go unnoticed. The conversation began innocuously. Kimmel asked about Pitt's latest film project, a post-apocalyptic drama that had already begun generating Oscar buzz. Pitt responded graciously, praising the cast and director, even joking about how exhausting action scenes are in your 60s. But just minutes into the interview, things took an unexpected turn. Kimmel shifted the topic to Pitt's personal life. "So, Brad," he said with a mischievous smile, "the tabloids say you've been seen with a certain someone lately. Care to comment?" Pitt's smile faltered slightly. "You know I don't do gossip, Jimmy," he replied, his voice cool, but clipped. Kimmel chuckled, brushing it off. "Fair enough, but the fans love knowing you're happy." That line seemed to cross the line. Pitt leaned forward slightly, narrowing his eyes. "You know what's funny, Jimmy? You invite me here to talk about my work, and yet somehow you pivot into this garbage." The crowd laughed nervously, unsure if this was a bit or a genuine reaction. Kimmel, sensing discomfort, tried to defuse the moment. "Come on, Brad, it's all in good fun." But Pitt didn't back down. "It's not fun for me. I've spent years trying to protect my privacy and keep the focus on my career. But guys like you toss in a joke, get your laughs, and you don't care what it costs people." The tension on set thickened. Kimmel raised his eyebrows, trying to lighten the mood. "I think you're taking this a bit too seriously, buddy." That word buddy seemed to ignite something in Pitt. "Don't patronize me," he snapped. A few audience members gasped. "You know damn well what you're doing. You parade people on this stage and pretend you're their friend while poking at their open wounds. I'm not here for that." The studio fell into a stunned silence. Kimmel looked around, clearly rattled. "Okay, I think we need to take a quick break," he said, signaling to the producers. But Pitt stood up before the commercial cue rolled. "No need. I'm done here," he declared, ripping off his mic and tossing it on the chair. Security quickly approached, but Pitt wasn't violent, just visibly upset. He turned to the crowd and muttered, "Sorry, folks, this isn't what I signed up for." Then he strode off stage, leaving a stunned Jimmy Kimmel sitting alone under the harsh studio lights. The cameras cut abruptly to commercial. Backstage, the producers scrambled. Some argued whether to edit the confrontation out entirely, while others saw the viral potential. Kimmel was seen talking to staff, his usually composed demeanor shaken. "What the hell just happened?" he asked, running a hand through his hair. Meanwhile, Pitt exited the building swiftly, flanked by his publicist and a security team. Paparazzi swarmed the back alley, shouting questions, but Pitt ignored them, slipping into a black SUV that sped off into the Los Angeles night. By the time the episode aired, news had already begun spreading online. Clips from audience members who had recorded the scene on their phones began circulating within hours. Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube exploded with hashtags like #BradVsKimmel and #TalkShowMeltdown. Some viewers sided with Kimmel, arguing he was just doing his job. Others praised Pitt for standing up to the invasive nature of celebrity media. The following morning, major outlets like TMZ, Variety, and The Hollywood Reporter ran the story. Headlines ranged from "Brad Pitt storms off Kimmel's set" to "Hollywood's nicest guy has had enough." Debate raged across social media and television commentary panels. Kimmel addressed the incident during the next night's monologue, trying to inject humor. "Well, I guess Brad Pitt won't be sending me a Christmas card this year. He joked, but there was a note of unease beneath the laughter. He clarified that no offense was intended, adding, "Sometimes guests have bad days too." Pitt, for his part, remained quiet. His representatives issued a brief statement. Brad was invited to discuss his film and was surprised by the personal nature of the questioning. He stands by his decision to leave the interview. That was it. No further elaboration. In the days that followed, Hollywood insiders weighed in. Some commended Pitt for drawing a line. Others criticized his outburst as unprofessional. Yet what remained undeniable was the cultural impact the incident sparked. A deeper conversation about boundaries between celebrities and media. Fans debated whether interviews should have limits or whether stars, by virtue of fame, owed the public more access. Talk show hosts across networks suddenly treaded more carefully, reviewing their upcoming guest questions. The Kimmel-Pitt clash had set a new precedent. Weeks later, Pitt returned to the spotlight, not on a talk show, but at a film festival premiere. When asked by a reporter if he'd ever go back to late-night television, he smiled and said, "Only if we're talking about movies and nothing else." The message was clear. The moment faded from headlines, but lingered in Hollywood lore. For some, it was just celebrity drama. For others, it was a bold stand against an entertainment industry that sometimes blurs the line between curiosity and intrusion. Either way, no one would forget the night Brad Pitt walked off Jimmy Kimmel Live